look at what Josh did with the Raiders, as well as I guess New England versus Jimmy G and like San Francisco, or is it all you're looking at all of it?
Yeah.
Over all his starts and all of Josh's games.
That's the challenge, obviously. We hadn't seen Jimmy play a lot of snaps with the Raiders, but obviously Josh's been a coordinator for a long time. I faced Josh probably almost 10 times, so that won't be a problem. But what he's doing with Jimmy G, I don't know. Obviously, he started with Josh in New England. I played against those guys when he was there as a young guy. So we'll see. Obviously, every year is different. Every offense is different. You kind of do what your players do best. Not just Jimmy. The runner. You got receivers that are new guys. So, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But I'm not sure, what it's going to look like.
How do you slow down Josh Jacobs? For whatever reason, he's had his way against this team.
Yeah, he's a good back, and obviously good players make plays, but you have to make a real effort to get him stopped. That's where it starts, in my opinion. If the running game's working, they can dictate D&Ds along with 17. And when you have a runner like that and a receiver that's a top 2 or 3 guy who's dominant, it's tough to get both things stopped. So you have to commit to one thing or the other and go for it. Mm-hmm. Well, that's last year. It was an early game also. Watching the Broncos games versus the Raiders last year, it got better as far as how teams played him, and Josh had more answers. Because that was his first time having Devontae, and it was week, I think, 2. They've evolved, a lot since that game. So we'll see how it comes out on Sunday. But obviously, our plan's always stopping their best people, and what they do first.
Vance, speaking of the team's best player, and Devontae Adams in particular, when dealing with someone like Devontae Adams and his skill set, is that something where you have Pat Surtain shadow him the whole game, or you try to do different things trying to contain him?
You have a plan. You have a plan to get those guys stopped. If you don't stop their best people, you won't win the game. So that's always first on our docket, when we game planning versus teams. So we'll see how it works on Sunday, but we'll have a plan to stop their best people.
What kind of challenge does Hunter Renfrow present from the slot?
Well, he's a guy that if you're putting your resources to 17, he can win one-on-ones. So again, that's part of the equation. If you're going to take away 17 with something, you're going to leave Renfrow one-on-one, with someone. So again, it's a cat and mouse game. We'll see how it works on Sunday, but that's always a challenge, guys. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons, not just those 3. Tight end's a good young player. He's a first-round pick. Got a young guy in Tucker who's got big-time speed. Carter from the Chargers who's got some speed. So it's a lot of weapons that they've got. Its offense was good, guys. I mean, it was an explosive offense last year, so it hadn't changed much. And Jimmy's a winner. We hadn't seen him play in the Vegas uniform, but he's a winner. I faced him for 4 years, and he's always won a lot of games. So, again, it's going to be a challenge for us to get him stopped.
Coach, do you feel like
tweak anything because of K1's injured?
No, we've had plenty of time in camp to kind of, find guys to replace K1. We've got plenty of players in the back end. It's just tough to find them all work. That's a good thing right now, but it's a long season. And obviously guys are going to get nicked, so having a bunch of good players is a good thing.
Coach, do you feel like in week 1 you make more halftime adjustments because you don't know exactly what's coming than later in the year?
In my experience, if you wait to halftime, it's pretty much over. We got to make them quickly. And that's always discussed week 1 about not knowing what you're going to get exactly and having the poise to kind of adjust, quickly without panic. That's the key. So halftime is too late.
Vance,
Every series. Yeah.
What impressed you about Thomas Simcoe that helped him make this team as a draft?
Well, he was a guy that we thought was a draftable player, first of all. So he came in with expectations to be a player for us. So that wasn't a surprise to us. He can rush. He can set edges. He's a young guy who works hard. He's tough. So moving forward, he's a perfect guy you want to be a young guy coming up moving forward because he can play teams also. So he's the profile we wanted at outside backer.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.